Grateful. I'm feeling like a great weekend and lots of good things happening all at once.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's pretty exciting, like the conversations that I'm having from all over the world. Like this morning, I just talked to my friend in the Philippines. He owns a huge uh, web agency um, that he's been doing since the beginning, like when I started doing my spiritual journey 7 years ago. And he's gonna come on Wednesday because we're gonna start to integrate a lot of his stuff behind the scenes after the user experience is defined. They'll
Mm.
also then get the backend Web3 services. So I'm really excited to really develop all of this because it's all happening. And then tomorrow we're meeting with some amazing lawyers to develop the IP that will also help in fundraising
Ah.
um, and fund managers as well from Switzerland and an amazing founder of a multi-bank in the founder of multi-bank. Anyways, it doesn't matter. The point is, lots of good people that
Ah.
are all coming together now and just like creating.
I
Yeah.
just went to a Joe Dispenza walking meditation yesterday. Yeah. And suddenly something manifested. Remember last week when we talked? I asked, is it a good idea to borrow from a credit line to buy more Bitcoin?
Right.
You know what happened last night? My banker from Hong Kong wrote me and say, "Hey, you have a $1 million facility. Do you want to use it?" I'm like, "What?"
Put it right into Bitcoin.
But I'm like, well, I'm almost like out of Hong Kong already, like all my money. I'm like, what? How could you? I mean, I'm in my head. I'm like, how could you lend me that facility when there's no like collateral? I'm like, what are the banks doing, right?
I think what they're seeing is they're gonna. My hallucination is that the leverage will be based upon. So they're lending the money because they are aware of some buyers' habits to people that are willing to invest into Bitcoin because they'll see that as a result of lending that money, they'll get it back in way more in trust than they would if they would lend it to somebody that doesn't believe in the Bitcoin. At least this is my hallucination. This is just what I've been
Yeah.
told.
I don't think the banks in Hong Kong are in Bitcoin, but maybe there's like no other ways to charge fees. And at least this, they get an annual fee, for borrowing, lending money to people. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, but maybe they're also paying attention to some of like your habit. Like my imagination is that they wouldn't just call you without doing a little bit of due diligence, right?
Oh,
So
I
maybe
mean, I've banked with them for many, many years, like 20, 30 years, but it just feels weird that, like, well, no. So the collateral would be stocks, possibly. Yeah, yeah. But so I'm finding out if I can buy Bitcoin ETF in Hong Kong.
I'm curious if you would be able and again I don't know for sure, but like would you be able to from Hong Kong's like uh that loan transition into anything within Canada or like the US? Like does that
Mm. The
or
loan? Well, the good thing about Hong Kong is there's no capital gains tax.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. I'm, because like, what if there's a bank collapse, right? I mean, um, I'm wondering like what's gonna happen like if you have Bitcoin ETFs and there's a bank collapse, then what happens?
What do you think?
I mean, the system collapses, right? I mean,
Right.
ideally, of course, you should be owning the real Bitcoin, but if the bank is willing to give that facility for stocks, then I don't know.
I was listening yesterday, not maybe not yesterday, a couple days ago, of like the backing, Bitcoin being, or sorry, banks being backed by Bitcoin.
So they have to buy Bitcoin first then.
Right. So do you think that that's maybe what they're doing with the ETFs?
Oh, you know what? It's really interesting. I looked at the Bitcoin treasuries list. Did you know that list?
No, please share it.
Yeah. Bitcoin tre
Oh, I love that we're talking so deeply about this stuff openly. I love it.
Are other people joining?
Oh, well, we'll see. I mean, I hope so. If not,
Can
that's
I can
fine. When
I
we get
can I share my screen?
yeah, yeah, of course. Just so you know, everything is being streamed, right? You're okay with that, right?
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, it's live streamed.
Yeah, we live stream this because I do I'm building this or we're building this as a family in the open so that it's very abstract. It's very there's no abstract. There's no um hidden agendas. There's no it's all just full open transparency.
Yeah. Sure, sure. Okay, so this
No,
site,
yeah,
it's called Bitcoin Treasuries, right?
yeah.
Okay. So if you look at, so this is the whole, it's a transparent list of all the companies holding Bitcoin. So MicroStrategy is number one, right? 214,000. And then you go down the list. So, like these are the ETFs, right? Grayscale, ARK, you know, ETFs. And then I went here and I looked at, also these are the private companies. These are the governments,
Wow. So how much
right?
does government
So
of
China
US?
has like number two. I mean, you thought China doesn't have is
Right.
banning Bitcoin. They're banning the people from having Bitcoin, but the government has a lot of Bitcoin.
And look at even the US, right? The US government, and they're also very much involved in,
Uh,
the Bitcoin holding.
yeah, yeah. But then I looked at something. Okay, so here, if you go to see BlackRock,
Yeah.
you see BlackRock here. Do you see BlackRock here?
No, I
Mm,
can't see it anywhere, actually. Interesting. Oh, BlackRock
no,
right
like,
there.
huh?
Just a bit
Where?
low. It went down, down, down. Keep going
Oh, so
down.
get in here.
It's closer to the bottom. I saw BlackRock here. Yeah, right there. Cool.
Right. So, okay, so I looked at this and like BlackRock has 6 Bitcoin?
Interesting.
I'm like, that's not possible. So I'm like, then BlackRock probably is relying on Coinbase, right? Coinbase to buy Bitcoin.
So because is Coinbase owning?
The
Hello, Sakitas.
Hey, my mic is on. Sorry, I just jumped on. I'm gonna be listening for a bit, and then I'm gonna join. Is that okay?
No
Sure,
worries,
sure.
bro. No worries, bro.
Sorry,
We're just
sorry
looking
for
at some.
interrupting.
Um,
Yeah. So I was like, how is it possible that BlackRock has so little Bitcoin?
so do you want to explain a little bit about Coinbase and BlackRock and how they correlate with one another? Because I think that would be really
Sure.
valuable
Okay,
for
so
anybody listening,
BlackRock
watching,
is
or observing.
one of the largest asset management firms, and they're they're like the Wall Street guys, right? So they're offering all these ETFs. I mean, out of I think there was 13 Bitcoin ETF companies, including ARK and all that, coming into like the Bitcoin space, right? But because I think they're not the experts in the real Bitcoin, they're offering, it's like paper gold, right?
Yep.
Instead of buying the real gold, there's paper gold. So you'll buy the piece of paper, basically. So Bitcoin ETF is like buying the piece of paper, right? So if you look at BlackRock,
So again, so just so that anybody is listening, also, if we go back to just that they understand the ETF behind Bitcoin and the Bitcoin, like, so because they just announced the ETFs, can you
yes.
explain a little bit about that from your awareness, with a really clear, like,
Okay,
if anybody
so I
listening.
think for the for the audience, if this is live streamed, if you buy Bitcoin, not everything is the same, okay? Unless there's the 12 seed word, you don't own it. You have to have the 12 seed word, right? If you're buying it through somebody else, buying it through, you know, banks, ETFs, I don't know, financial advisors, whatever, they're the middlemen. And that was what Bitcoin was invented to prevent in the first place.
Right.
So I have tons of friends who they thought they bought Bitcoin. Like if you buy Bitcoin on Robinhood or Wealthsimple, you can buy it, but because you don't own the 12 seed words, that means if they tank, if they shut down, you don't have access to your money. Same thing with FTX, right? You know, the people who bought FTX left the money on the platform. FTX went down. You don't own the money, okay? But if you bought Bitcoin, okay, even though you bought it through FTX, but you sent it back to your wallet, you own the 12 seed phrase, the words. That's the most important thing to remember is the 12 words. 12 or 24 words. If it's a hard wallet, it's a 24 words. If it's a soft wallet, which is like the app, then it's 12 words, right? But what I'm showing Eric here is, so this is the Bitcoin Treasuries Net. It's a public site documenting like all the institutions or all the large companies that how many Bitcoins they own. So MicroStrategy, headed by Michael Saylor, he's like the, you know, the evangelist now on Bitcoin. He owns 200,000 Bitcoin, like number one, like in the world, right? Next is Marathon Digital Holding, and Tesla is number 3. Coinbase is one of the largest crypto exchanges. They own 9,480. So as I was looking at this list, and so these are all the companies, and these are all the ETFs, right? The financial institutions that can help you buy. Now, where was BlackRock again?
It was at the bottom here somewhere. I noticed. I think it was in
Here?
no, it was lower. It was in the, I think a different. Yeah, I think it was no. Fuck, I don't know.
What? Private companies.
Up higher a little bit, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, here.
There we go.
Whoops. Sorry. Yep. Okay. Yeah, BlackRock. Yeah, so when I looked at BlackRock, I'm like 6. I'm like that's not possible.
Yeah.
Because they're one of the largest asset management companies, right? So if you look at, let me see if I can get ChatGPT out. Oh.
And so if BlackRock only owns 6 or whatever, you
It's not
mentioned.
possible.
Yeah, you mentioned that they also have a relationship with how do you say
Coinbase. So
Coinbase.
I think all these large financial institutions, if they buy Bitcoin, they have Coinbase at the back.
Right.
How many? How much? Wait, okay, maybe this is not real time though, because it's ChatGPT, right? Just type this here. Right. Yeah. Okay. BlackRock ETF is 2 million. Oh, this is only ETF, so it should be Bitcoin ETF.
$788.
Yeah. 788 million. So the BTC. So 6 equals to how many? Yeah, it's only half.
And that's
So if you look at BlackRock and relationship
that's actually
is
not even half, because that was 387,000.
yeah,
And the number up there was 788 million.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
it's
how much how is by
very off.
using Coinbase?
So does that mean that they're not sharing the right information online? Or the correct information?
It should be.
So literally, maybe I can jump in. I think that's what it means, that they don't own
They don't own the
Bitcoin.
real Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
What I'm trying to say.
It's based on trust. They have a contract to Bitcoin, but they don't have a contract. They don't have access to it. Coinbase is a custodial,
Yeah.
and it's a key. They take care of security for literally 12 words.
See?
12 words.
Okay, forges deal to give BlackRock clients access to crypto. Interesting.
Yeah, so BlackRock is, I think they're a very well-known asset management firm. They have all these clientele that are in traditional finance, right? So they take the money and then go, hey, Coinbase, you help us buy the real Bitcoin, right? So they have a deal on paper, right? So that means all the money is actually in Coinbase, like the real Bitcoin, right? But actually, even though Coinbase owned the real Bitcoin, you don't own it because you don't hold the keys.
Right. Exactly.
Right?
And not a
So
lot
I
of
think
people
people
know
need
this.
to know the difference.
Right.
I mean, if I was a hacker, like I think the hackers are gonna just go attack Coinbase because they own all the crypto, right?
And so Coinbase owns how much now?
Okay. And they're centralized.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So Coinbase now is 9,480 Bitcoin, which equivalent. This is the mark. This is the 57. Wait. How do you read this? Yeah, 9,480.
Yeah. So I'm curious. I have another question. So what would be the difference between buying from MicroStrategy or Mara Bitcoin versus Coinbase? Or can you?
Essentially, Coinbase is a centralized exchange. MicroStrategy is a private company,
Right.
right? But I think the difference, yeah. So private company, I guess, depends on if they have dividends and all that, right? But still is their middlemen.
Yeah.
You still
And
don't
you
own
not
your 12 keys. Yeah.
and MicroStrategy, I think they don't sell Bitcoin; they sell shares for the company only.
Shares.
So you can invest as a regular company, but you're not gonna get Bitcoin in any case.
You still don't own it. You still don't own it. However, I mean, sometimes it's kind of confusing for a lot of people to own their seed phrases, like the self-custody. Let me pull up what I mean by the 12 seed words.
I love it. I love that we're teaching everybody this as we talk about it. You're teaching me so much as well, which is great. Thank you.
Sure. So
Elaine, before we continue, can you just share a little bit about kind of like how long you've been involved in Bitcoin too? Just so anybody that's also listening back or watching live maybe can have a
sure.
understanding of your awareness.
I learned about Bitcoin actually at a Tony Financial Mastery event in 2015 when it was $500. But I actually did.
So Tony's been sharing it as well. Tony Robbins has been talking
Yeah,
about Bitcoin as well. Yeah,
yeah.
interesting.
2015. Gary Silbert, one of the pioneers in the space, was talking about it. I mean, I only heard about it then. Of course, I didn't do anything until 2017 when Bitcoin went to 17,000 and then 21,000 and then it actually went back to $3,000. Yeah. But that's when I kind of got really into it, right? I looked at a lot of YouTube videos, like really dived into the space. And so went through the ups and down cycles, right? Yeah. So, and because I'm in sort of in tech, although I'm in the user experience side of tech, I still have to be at the forefront of technology, right? Whether it's AI or crypto, Web3 and all that. So that's why I'm into the space. And I'm super interested in the space because the user experience is so bad. you know? Yeah.
Right.
So when I
It's
talk about, sorry.
go ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead. Keep going.
So when you open a wallet, okay. So let's say something like a trust wallet, okay? So Trust Wallet is owned by Binance, also one of the largest exchanges. So when you open a wallet like this, like a mobile wallet, let me share you Trust Wallet interface. So a wallet kind of looks like this. Yeah, it kind of looks like this. Okay, can you see this? Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll have your Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the other things, right? So when you open it, it will have a screen like this. This is the 12 words. It's a recovery phrase. It has to be in order, you have to write it down on paper. Don't screen capture. Don't leave because the thing is hackers can hack into your computer and see your screens, even your mobile phones. That's why you need to write down the 12 words on a piece of paper and put it in a safe. Put it somewhere safe. Don't forget this because this is actually the most important thing. If you lose your phone, if your app crashes, it doesn't matter as long as you have these 12 words. This is something that a lot of people don't know. Yeah.
I agree. No clue.
But it's the most important thing. Yeah. So I mean you'll hear on the news that people bought Bitcoin like many years ago, 10 years ago, and then they suddenly found that they became a millionaire and then they forgot the 12 words. Right?
Can I
Nobody
jump in? I,
yeah.
I would like to land one important point
Yeah.
about Bitcoin. So one thing that is also not many even Bitcoiners are aware about and looking themselves and tripping the balls back and forth is that one main characteristic of Bitcoin is that it's always on chain. You cannot take Bitcoin out of from chain. That's why
Yes.
it's safe. That's why it's closed loop circle. Like so it can verify. Otherwise, it could not verify every minutes if you take the Bitcoin out of chain or from chain. So it verifies just the boxes, imaginary boxes in the quantum field. It just verifies what's in what boxes. That's it. And then we have those 12 words to access that information, which is only information. There is no value.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't know the whole paradigm shift is that you you are the bank, not relying on external parties, because the whole reason why Bitcoin and the technology blockchain was invented was because of 2008, the financial crisis. A lot of people got hurt. The banks closed down, right? Like Lehman Brothers, all that, they shut down and people lost a lot of money. So a bunch of technologists, right, invented this under the name of Satoshi Nakamoto, right? So I think it's really important to understand why this technology came about. It's to get rid of the middlemen. So if you ever own any Bitcoin through a middleman, I mean, it kind of defeats the purpose, number one, right? And then they could also go down. Let me give you an example. It's like PayPal. When I came over to Canada from Hong Kong, like a few years ago, because I haven't used PayPal for a while, so I suddenly had a larger amount of money through PayPal. They decide to stop me from accessing my account for 21 days, right? Wow. So anytime that you have a middleman, you don't really own the money, right? If they decide to shut down or, prevent you from accessing. Yeah. I also know another plat who kind of traded on Binance. And then there's some third-party hack. And he lost all his money. Yeah. So just be aware of why this was even invented. Although I do admit that currently it's really difficult to buy. Like, it's for a lot of people who are not very tech savvy, just being lazy, they would go, oh, why don't I just get somebody else to buy for me, right? Like, just rely on these institutions to buy for me. But then the thing is that because you don't own the 12 words, then you don't really own it. I think in the Bitcoin space, not your keys, like not your money. There's this phrase, not your keys, not your money. Right. Yeah.
Sagitas, do you want to add anything? No. Yeah, I think that
yes. Sorry. Yes, I was trying to work out with the phone. But so fundamentally, we don't even have, like, nobody owns Bitcoin, and no one will ever own Bitcoin. We are Bitcoin. The value, it's in us. It's the value, it's in Eric. The value, it's in me. The value is Elaine. It's our knowledge. How we use it. It's like that's not the technical side of it, but that's where it lands.
Oh, actually, Eric, previously I drew a diagram, like, just
Please.
To explain it more visually.
I love it.
Okay, see this?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so let's say you, with your credit card, goes on an exchange like Binance or Coinbase to buy from US dollar to Bitcoin. Okay, KYC means know your customer. That's why they need your ID, they need your passport, all this information right now. So Coinbase or Binance are centralized exchanges, but when you exchange it to Bitcoin, it's actually like on the cloud. It's on the blockchain, right? This is the blockchain. So it's kind of like locked there. Like, so you always know it's yours. So your mobile phone is really a viewing device. So it's like when you look at WhatsApp messages, even though if you lost your phone, like, you can buy a new phone again, download the app, and then your messages is going to come back down from the cloud, right? Same thing. It's just a viewing device to see, oh, your money is up there, right? Your Bitcoin is up there. That's why I wrote the article, to say that this space has a lot of wrong analogies, because if you call this a wallet, people would think the money is here, right? It's in the mobile phone. It's not. It's actually on the cloud, on the blockchain. Yeah. So I think it's a mental paradigm shift that people have to get used to, which is not so easy because you can't touch it, right? You know, it's just numbers. Yeah.
And I think the thing is that people haven't discovered who their real wealth, who they are in terms of their own identities. So it's very difficult for them to understand that, oh, the value that I create in the world is based off of the value that I show up in, and as a result I receive the value. It's not like, oh my goodness, I got to get paid and have it in the visual feeling,
Yeah.
touching, versus like the energy of exchange in our potential.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think a lot of people, the why they lose money is because they put it on exchange and they don't take it out. You know, it's like if you go to another country, you go to the airport, you go to an exchange to exchange your US dollars for, let's say, yen, and you leave your money in the exchange at the airport. That's the analogy, right? Like nobody does that. Don't leave your money in the exchange.
Right.
Yeah. You need to take back the yen and put it back in your wallet. That's what you need to do. Yeah.
Can you your article, where can people find it? Can you show us on here so they can, when they're looking back,
Oh,
they
sure.
can
Yeah.
look at the
So
article?
you go to
Because you
a
wrote that when? What year?
few years ago.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like
this
what,
was
20?
back, let's see, 2022.
2022.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
2022. Yeah, so I wrote an article on Medium about why crypto would not gain mass adoption without good user experience. So back then I used the word crypto because it kind of encompasses Bitcoin and other coins, but you know, I know for this group, like most people believe more in just Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
But the same principles apply. It's so right now, back then when I wrote this, I think out of the world of 7 billion people, only 300 million. So 300 million is the population of the United States, right? Yeah, around that. Yeah. So it's like less than 5% of the world owns crypto. Now maybe more, right? A little bit more, but I think it's not that much more. It's not even 10% right now.
Well, I was
And
looking. Go ahead. Sorry.
go ahead. Yeah.
I was just. I was listening when we were in Madeira. We were listening to Michael Saylor, and he mentioned that crypto, or sorry, not crypto, Bitcoin is Bitcoin specific is only 1% of the asset class in the world, like real estate and gold and all these other things. They make up. There's a lot of other 99% of the asset
Uh-huh.
class, but that means that there is so much opportunity right now for the
Yeah.
Bitcoin network to evolve and grow, and also to deflate the existing currency to really integrate a really way more meaningful value and store of value. And that means that it's still super early. It's still
Oh,
super
it's
early
so
for
early.
people. Yeah.
It's so
I
early.
think
I
a
mean,
lot
a
of
lot
people
of
are
people,
scared, like, oh my God, I got in too late. It's over. They don't really understand the dynamics of what true Bitcoin means.
yeah.
And then they get confused and they just follow another bright light, or maybe it's not even a bright light, it might be a dark light, in fact. Because it's like a shiny object syndrome. So they get put into these other alternative coins or Ethereums or things like this that aren't necessarily backed by the same principles that
Mm.
Bitcoin stands for. Because what they're doing is they're duplicating the time chain and making it their own, where it's actually owned by a group of people, just like a central bank. Does this make sense?
Can you repeat the last sentence? A group
So,
of people that,
so basically, like a central bank owning just a few, like they're owning the principal base of like the exchange or the shareholders. These alternative coins are also the same principles like the US dollar or like these central banks, where a few people or a group of people are owning the principal share of the coin and the rest of the community.
Yeah. I think, in the old days, money is we people traded cows for chicken, right? So it's an evolution of money, right? At one point it was seashells, like some cultures it was coffee beans, some it was stones, right? And then it became paper money, and then it became plastic money. So now it's just the next revolution. But I think because people are so entrenched in the idea that money is the current form that they can't think otherwise, right? It's like if my grandma was to use credit card, like she already passed away, but that generation of people would still not be used to, credit cards or going to the ATMs, right? So, but our next generation are so comfortable with like, crypto, right? Or Bitcoin, the younger generation. Um, so I think it's important to, and in fact, when I was diving a lot into the space, I find more value in studying the history of money than watching like the news, you know, like the CNBC or whatever CNN, because those are media and they thrive on eyeballs. They thrive on scaring you one day and making, you know, it's not the truth. But if you really want to understand Bitcoin, you need to study the history of money. And I actually just shared with in the group, there's this guy called Mike Maloney. He created a series about the history of money, and one of them is called The Fall of the Roman Empire versus the United States. And he talks about how this money printing has happened many times in history, including the Roman Empire. Of course, they didn't print money, but they clipped the coins, clipped the side of the coins, melted it again, and put some copper into it to debase the money, because the Roman Empire was expanding so fast that they can't handle it anymore, right? And then they collapsed. So I
This
think
is why
it's
they
happening.
in movies. This is why in movies, if anybody was ever watching in movies, they would always bite the coin to make sure
Yeah.
that it was real and soft, right?
All
So this
right.
is something. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I didn't think about that. Yeah, so if it's too soft, it's gonna break. Is that right?
No, if it
Oh.
was if it was hard, then they knew that it was debased
Oh, if it
because
was
the
too
hard
hard.
because you
Oh.
could with the gold you could actually it's soft enough to go in, like to feel it, like it's like when
Oh.
it's like pure gold, when pure gold, like 24 karat gold, it's very soft, right? So you
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
bite into it. If you feel the hardness of it,
Oh, then it's fake. Yeah, it's
then
fake.
it's like it's debased into
Debase.
some sort of copper or nickel or something like this because it's
Right.
a harder metal. It becomes a
Ah,
metal rather than. So this is the
interesting.
importance, right? Because that's the, like, whenever you have soft jewelry, for example, like 24 karat gold, it's very malleable, meaning like it's
Mhm.
easier to bend.
Right. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So I really recommend to watch that movie. Then you'll know why, like historically, any economies that prints money ends bad. Whether it's Argentina, Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Weimar Republic, it's all bad ending. And we're probably
And
heading
it's
there now.
happening right now. So it's funny, the other day, in the platinum community in the group, somebody had posted oh look, I'm going for a massage. It's costing me 500,000 dong or whatever it was in Vietnam. I don't know the currency, but it was like 500,000 the number. And one of the other members, and again, I'm not going to say names, but was like, oh, I never really understood why it's so increased. Like, why are the numbers so high? And
Yeah.
I said, this is inflation. Like, this
Yeah.
is a huge red flag. And this is the
Yeah.
same thing that is happening in the US economy, in the US dollars. And it's almost like people just are like, this is normal. This is normal.
Mm.
This is not like this has happened in other places. It's not going to happen to us. And it's like, it's almost like this complete oblivion. You know, the other day I was having a conversation with a friend that I went to university, or sorry, high school with, and I was walking around the lake with my mom, and we bumped into him, and he's like, "Hey, Eric, how are you?" I was like, "Hey, it's so good to see you. It's so good, amazing." And I was telling him about, you know, what we're building with the infrastructure and the new economy and Bitcoin and things like this. And he's like, "Yeah, but you know, like," and he was talking about these exchanges and things like this. And I said, "Yeah, well, you could have self custody and you could really own your keys and you can own your coins and oh, but you know, like, is it going to happen the same way with like how, you know, the economy has happened in the past?" And I said, well, have you looked into, you know, have you done your research? Have you gotten more curious? Have you taken the time? It's like, yeah, you know, I don't know. I just, you know, I don't have the time. I said, well, you know, it's fascinating, right? Like, you know that there's a problem with inflation. You know
Yeah.
that it's not in the best interest of your child. You have a child. He was pushing, him and his wife were there, and like, yeah, like, you know that you have this responsibility to your children. Oh yeah, you know, I guess it's for the, but like, not really taking any responsibility. So you don't know, because if you knew, then you would be taking
Yeah.
action. Knowing
Yeah.
is actually willingly taking action to be involved into something that you're willing to take responsibility for and move in that direction. Knowing is not like, I know in the mind and I'm just going to kind of keep doing the same old thing and believe in the same bullshit and keep seeing the changes in the environment and not doing anything about it. Knowing
Yeah.
is stepping the fuck up and doing something. And I called him out and I said, bro, like, you don't know because you're not doing anything about it. So
Yeah.
with love and compassion, of course, but it's fascinating to me how many people, they say so much, they talk a lot about how much they know, but their actions are the same fucking pattern that they
Yeah.
continue to be doing for generations. And this is where, like, I believe it's our duty and our responsibility to step up for our children, because if we're only thinking of ourselves, then we're going to continue doing the same thing. If we start focusing on the next generation and really thinking about what they need from us, then we'll step the
Mm.
fuck up. You know, this is my perspective.
Yeah. Which is why Erica shared with you and Pierre about the movie Civil War.
Mm.
Because in the movie there was one line that was really interesting. Like, me and my brother went to see it, and in the movie, like, there's this bunch of journalists like going to get gasoline, and in the gasoline station the people were holding guns, right?
Mm.
And then at first they were like, no, you can't get gasoline, and the protagonist said, what would we paid you $300 for a tank of gasoline? And the other guy was like, but $300 can only buy ham and eggs. And the protagonist said, well, what if we paid you in Canadian? And they're like, oh, okay, Canadian's okay. So, like, I mean, me and my brother laugh, but I'm like, oh my god, like, this could happen. You know what I mean? Yeah.
100%. I mean, I think that this is, people are not really seeing the seriousness of what's happening,
Right.
because they're so they lack
So busy in their
curiosity. Most
lives.
people,
Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody. I'm not saying, you know. I'm just saying um, this is the essence of, you know, what you don't know, and you choose to be ignorant. And when you're ignorant to life, you allow it to pass you by without really taking any responsibility. And I think that Krishnamurti, I shared it the other day. He always says is like we've become a society that takes other people's ideas and reads other people's books, and we've become a society of repeaters, people that repeat patterns, versus
That's
getting curious, and thinking for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
what you describe, brother, is it's inflation in different kind of form. It's quantity. Sorry, quantity over quality. So it's the result of that economical system. Like people start valuing less and less things, like this, like the quality things, but more and more, and it's just the same program.
Oh, I have one more story to share with you guys. So I have a friend who in Vancouver here. She's in my same industry. She's from Argentina. So I was asking, I had dinner with her. I was asking, so why did you come here? She's like, well, because in Argentina, the government is corrupt. They kept printing money. Her mom is only making $200 per month. So whenever she goes back and treats her whole family for dinner, which is costs only $75, like she's like the queen of the, you know, $75 treat the entire family for dinner, right? So she's like, well, if she doesn't get out of that country, like there's just no future, right? So that's why she's here in Canada. And the money she makes is way more, right, than in Argentina. But Argentina was a rich country before, you know. But that's why every country that prints money is just gonna end bad. And United States is the world reserve currency. You know, I I just don't know what's gonna happen. If the banks collapses.
I mean, we know what's going to happen. It's now our responsibility. It's like Socrates said, it's not about breaking down the old anymore. It's about building the new. And as a result of building the proper new and the structure and the infrastructure, what we're doing with businesses, their development, really encouraging, giving them the infrastructure, building so that they can receive Bitcoin, so that they can be educated about Bitcoin, how we're able to then congruently define what that means and how they can really have Bitcoin on their balance sheets. This is what's going to give them the opportunity to really step into a solution oriented, responsible role. And so that they can also pay their employees with Bitcoin. And this is where, I'm really grateful, because we're leading the charge. We're stepping into that, and we're willing to take responsibility, and we're moving forward. And it's not about even the fear of the banks or fear of what's happening. It's, yeah, that's fine. Keep happening, doing whatever you want. We're going to keep building, and we're excited to build,
Yeah.
And this is what I love the most about this, because it's a huge opportunity for those that want to take it.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I'm really passionate about how do we make it much easier to buy and sell Bitcoin. I mean, the 12 key thing is still kind of, like, it's like with such a high-tech solution, it's 12 words that you have to write on paper and put in your safe. It's kind of, yeah.
That's also the value of it, like, even though it's high tech, but maybe that 12 words and putting it on paper is what makes it so much more real, tangible, responsible. Like I think that there's a piece there where that oldness, or that's just real grounded nature of it, is what makes it actually so much more ancient, because that is the part of it that also I believe is just extremely valuable. Sagitas, what do you think, bro?
100%. I mean, I went for that by my own experience. So when I started education about Bitcoin, I was studying for 3 years, and then I started buying on exchange, and then I started buying No, actually, my first was KYC, so I bought it from a friend, and then yeah, like writing down the on paper, it allowed me to, like, when I wrote down on paper, it's a stage. I wrote down on paper. It allowed me to invest, let's say, store in Bitcoin maybe 20% of my wealth, so I can feel calm when I sleep. That was my indicator. And if I know, for example, if I would sell my house, my paper is already not enough. I have to think about greater security for those 12 words. So right now, what I started doing, I put my 12 words on, I secured them into steel. And the people that I verify, that I know, I tell them where it is, and I tell them what to do and how to take it and what to do next. So that's how I found so far the most secure. So people in my circle, because it's like, I don't need Bitcoin. Like, what the fuck? Like, nobody fucking needs a Bitcoin. Needs action, needs time, needs to do what we love doing. And so there's in the longer journey, if I look 10, 20, 50, 100 years, like, we're not gonna even use Bitcoin. But for now, it's like, just, yeah, as you say, 12 words, write down, put it in a steel, and forget about it. And don't forget to share where it is, so people can, in case something happens, people can unlock it.
Yep. But I think all this needs more education, because a lot of people don't know about this.
That's what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is knowledge, right? You know that, and that's the main thing. What we need: educate people to remind themselves, to bring back to the heart, so people start acting from love rather than fear. And that's a deep journey. That's a big paradigm shift in parallel for every single human on planet Earth. Therefore, we cannot force anything in Bitcoin. It's a rites of passage. It's a natural flow. It's nature. It's osmosis. It's a filter. People who goes into rabbit hole and figures it out and learns a lot of history about energy, about mathematics, about whatever they are curious. That's where independency and freedom lies. Building network, meeting other Bitcoiners. We don't even talk anymore about Bitcoin when we meet. We talk about, what we build, what are we creating, what is our passion, and how we can support each other. And Bitcoin, in money, it comes, let's say I have a project idea, and that's the majority where is stuck in mind, and thinking that they need. Yesterday we had a really fun conversation with a friend, and I was, bro, this is nothing. This is, and I know his integrity is pretty goddamn strong, and he's super knowledgeable, but he still has a fear around it. The Bitcoin was developed by CIA, I guess that's the right way to put it. And I was like, bro, right now, I give you my 12 words and you have access to my wallet. And that was the trigger, because we're dealing with literally with a lot of people that are stuck in a paradigm. So we need to break patterns. That's the only thing. What breaks patterns? Love. Listening what other needs, and I'm gonna give you $10 million. Yeah, I'm gonna give you. And that's already, with that, we kind of give them responsibility without giving $10 million already. I'm gonna raise funds. That's what we did. Now I'm raising, literally, I'm not kidding, I'm raising $10 million for my friend Joe to verify him. on his accountability. And if I would have $10 million, I would send him today, and then I will check, because I know, for example, that person's values is he he thinks his price of for integrity is $10 million, but it's priceless. It's life.
Mm.
And I know he knows that, but he's still in a paradigm shift, and he's millionaire. Listen, he has like a couple millions in cash, dollars I'm talking about, and still stuck out in fear.
Mm.
That's a true story that happened yesterday.
Yeah, Bitcoin is really a system of trust, you know, that was kind of lost in our existing society or banking system, right? Yeah, it's just a way to rebuild it back.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's, since Bitcoin is nature, and then we go in the studying Bitcoin, what we discover again, nature. And then we discover nature patterns. We start recognizing what is nature, energy, mathematics. Then we start applying all that knowledge to ourselves, and then we can check our own integrity. Then we can start checking our own values. Otherwise, the head is full of noise. It's only noise for majority. It's almost impossible to to have a conversation. It's like, hey, I have this idea. It would be so good for the world. It would bring magic. I know. I feel like, yeah, but we need to think how we're gonna monetize, and we're gonna need to figure it out how like what monetize. What did you just said? Like literally, fuck off, and then we talk. Like there is nothing in between. It's just noise.
Yeah, what I find really interesting about this group is both about Bitcoin, money, and spiritual, which usually doesn't coexist. You know?
Well, actually,
yeah, and I
here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. It actually does. And so Napoleon Hill, he calls this the divine economy. And so at the highest levels of integrity, it does coexist. Where it doesn't coexist is actually when people are spiritually bypassing their true core nature. And they're not actually owning the value of their own abundance and what they bring to life in the world. Because if you can't value yourself and how definiteness of purpose and the chief aim of how you're supposed to be integrating your responsible role in this sovereignty and moving forward with absolute certainty, then people will always separate the two. The thing is, our energy, it's the purest form of money is our energy. The purest form of our wealth is our energy. The purest form of abundance is our energy. And when we deliver it with that level of certainty and with that level of commitment, with that level of devotion, then there is nothing in this world that becomes more valuable than the nature that comes through us. And that nature that comes through us becomes something way more profound than anything that's been created in terms of tangibility. It becomes who you are and how you want to devote your life to this work. When you devote your life to this work, it is your wealth, and money. It's the hardest form.
That's why it's called magic internet money, because the the click happens here in nature. Integrity happens in me, not in a system. The system is already integral. So when the shift starts happening in me, and this is super ultra spiritual, Elaine. Like it cannot it's there is no separation. Is nature. Nature is spiritual. So what I think that every spiritual person that's going now tripping around the world and searching, they're gonna be the next wave that's gonna find Bitcoin. Because where is Bitcoin? In the end of that tunnel of fucking searching for spirituality for decades and being trapped in the loop of learning. It's just clears the mind. It's just, and then like Eric, when we went to Madeira, how much magic we experienced because of those serendipities that starts happening. It's almost on the level of craziness. The things start showing up. Make a wish. Just make be yeah. It just
Infiniteness.
it's that's why it's magic internet money, and that's what I'm trying to bring to this conversation. It's nothing to do with the fucking technology. It's a yes and technology is yes, but network, you and me talking, you and Eric talking, that's where the real exchange happens. That's why nobody can stop it. That's why nobody can shut it off. You cannot shut Sigitas off. You cannot shut Eric off, because we found our nature. We are like so deep in fucking integrity that Eric is invited me to work with him mainly so I can keep him accountable. I do the same. I need to be accountable because this is the time is already not even the time is an illusion. Me and Eric, we both know. We saw each other. We are like, we remember that this is not the first time we on this earth playing game. So now we know. We both know that we know. We both know that this is like, okay, are we gonna do the same again this lifetime, or we actually fucking gonna show up and gonna bring a beauty to the world through our own experiences, through our proof of work, which has nothing to do again with network online. Proof of work is what I love doing the most. And that's the nature verifies that every 10 minutes. Like I'm starting to recognizing what does that mean. I'm getting ideas to act on something every fucking moment in life. And now it's my integrity in game with universe. Am I gonna show up or not? And if I show up, yesterday, for example, like I threw the cigarette bite on the floor. No, it feels wrong. Like I picked it up, I put it in the garbage. That's verification of my own integrity. What I know, I cannot not know. Littering is bullshit, right? So I know I cannot not know. That's how simple it is. And by living in this passion, we are very recognizable. We are visible because we energy. Everyone is also energy. So people start coming and like, hey, who are you? What the fuck is going on? Why you look so different? Why do I feel so good for you? Listen, I have this secret I never told anyone. And then we share the secret. And I met hundreds of people like this in my life where it would be like, you're the first I'm sharing because of that nature. Because of my integrity. And Eric can fucking verify my integrity. I know that. This is not even a question for me. I don't even need anyone to verify because I am verifying myself because I know that I understood the game.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I studied. Have you heard of pranic healing? I studied that, and then it's like when we are in integrity, our energy is completely connected from the source. Yeah. But when we step out of it, it shrinks, right? Supposedly.
And this is very easy to experience. Just feel like during the day when you play somewhere. It could be, you're making maybe playful coffee, and feel how much energy universe gives you. As soon as we stop playing, and I'm talking completely from my experience, as soon as I stop playing, universe plugs out the energy. As soon as I start becoming serious, it plugs out the energy out of me. As soon as I start thinking, calculating, it's just like, bro, that's not the game. Like, oh, I cannot wake up today. 3 days, I'm laying on the floor. Like, what to do? It's the problem, inflation. It's the problem, politicians. It's a problem, central bank. No, the problem is fucking here, integrity.
It's true. And
yeah.
people don't realize that part of taking it, like the taking it, not like, yes, there's a piece of knowing when to move into that space of of seriousness, but there's a playfulness that's involved with it. There's an innocence that's involved with it, right? There's an ability for us to know that, hey, like the playground just became so much bigger, right? Like the playground is the planet. If we realize and we start realizing that our energy is really the essence of our divine nature, and if our playfulness shows up into the way that we get to cultivate and build the planet, then we start doing things we really care for, love for people. We start to serve from something greater than ourselves. It's not just about me, Elaine, or Sagitas, or Pierre, or anyone else, or Lau, or anyone else that is involved. It's about something so much greater, and that is what connects us to our sovereignty, to our divine nature. And as a result, building the Bitcoin infrastructure is a part of making sure that we leave this planet better than we've ever found it.
Yeah. And it's so simple. I would like to read something if you don't mind. In 1935, Einstein and physicist Nathan Rosen used the theory of general relativity to elaborate on the idea proposing the existence of bridges through space and time. General relativity. We relate by talking right now. We are bridges. Like this is, so I was reading this article and it goes. So for example, I would continue a bit. These bridges connect two different points in space and time, theoretically creating a shortcut that could reduce travel time and distance. The shortcuts come to be called Einstein-Rosen bridges or wormholes. We all are it. It's so grounded. The Bitcoin is so grounded in principles of life. It's almost trippy to connect all the dots now. And now I need kind of to, like, I had a really transformational weekend. And that's one of those where I feel I need to rewatch all the movies. I need to reread all the books. it's that's why I feel so much energized to share and talk and yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can I share with you guys something?
Yes, please.
I want to share with you a Chinese character that means king, and it looks like this. It's heaven, man, and earth connected. Like when your energy is completely aligned and connected, then you connect everything. So it's just what you guys talked about.
That's why we, that's why when we went to Eric, in Dr. Joe, we learned that everything is in the field. All the knowledge is already, we can just tune in. And what you're saying with the heaven, man, and earth in that connection, then we become that wormhole that can access all information, whatever we want. We just have to choose. We just have to tune in our head. Okay, today I'm gonna build this, and I think I would like to. That's how I play. I'm gonna. And I need Einstein energy. I'm like, yeah, that's the one I know, or somebody better than Einstein. I need now, and I start doing without thinking, and the knowledge comes through. The knowledge comes through because we recognize that in the moment.
Yeah,
like it shows up. Like, oh, this one. Oh, look,
manifest.
that one. Yeah. And that's the thing. It manifests.
I was just telling Eric, like last week we were talking about, I was asking a question, like, does it make sense to use credit line to buy more Bitcoin? And then yesterday, my Hong Kong banker wrote me and said, hey, we have a $1 million facility for you. I'm like, what? It just kind of came out of nowhere, right?
What happened to you? So you were about to buy something? Or
No, I'm considering buying more, but like I'm thinking,
Hmm.
hey, is it a good idea to use a facility or a credit line to do that, right? And I was given
I
this
would say,
option.
I have
yeah.
a question with the facility. Is it a
Yeah.
facility like a building? Is that what that means? Just so that I'm
No, no, no.
clear.
Facility mean bank facility.
Okay, got
Meaning,
it. Okay.
like for example, the bank can you can have that amount to buy let's say stocks. Yeah.
Mhm.
And you only pay like 1,000 Hong Kong dollars for that to have access to that. It's like Michael Saylor, right? He has the credibility to borrow money for zero
Right.
for zero interest,
So
right?
may I ask what's stopping you from saying I'm gonna like what do you think would be the ramifications of not taking that million and putting it into Bitcoin versus just leaving it there? I'm just
Well,
curious.
the thing is, for the bank to give me that bank facility, you need to buy stocks, right? I don't think they will allow it to buy Bitcoin. It's probably stocks, but stock is still in the system, right? It's still
Like, can
part of
I
the bank.
jump in? Like,
Yeah,
I cannot hold contain myself. Elaine, uh, are you love making money? What is your love?
my
Like,
love.
like, yeah, what would you do if you would like no money? Let's take the money as an object away completely. Is
Yeah.
like so I want to bring that, like, is my question is like, do you love making money? That's your passion, because you
No.
know the you know no. So my answer would be no, don't do
Yeah.
it. Then is a speculation, then is the gambling.
Hmm.
And I want to bring another point. What we need, yes, we need somebody to buy Bitcoin, we need somebody to pump the fiat into Bitcoin, but you're not going to believe there is people who knows how to do it way much better than you and I and Eric combined. And they are playing games online, and they are channeling millions of billions of dollars from YouTube into Bitcoin. And what do you think we're going to do with that Bitcoin? Of course, we need to build infrastructure. That's why we need to figure it out what we love doing the most, because the wealth is going to find us. And
Yeah.
once we're going to start doing again, like what we love doing the most, then network will support us. We don't have to think that way anymore,
Mm.
unless is your passion, unless is your drive, unless you love reading charts, going to banks, meeting all this, like, fuck yeah, fuck
No,
yeah.
that's
how
not
can i
me.
support how can I support you, Elaine? Like, this is the thing. If fundamental principle for you is how to take care of yourself, then it's different theme. But if we go as collective, then there is no me anymore, there is no you anymore,
Mm.
like, literally. And we without each other cannot exist either, because it's energy,
Yeah.
we all together on the mission, then supporting each other through energy. We calling, we meeting, we need to verify that we are real, so we need to meet,
Yeah.
we need to
Sure.
hang out.
Love to.
And then and then the deal starts happening. Like, in last weekend I met Rafa, and then during the 24-hour 30-hour of time, we had maybe 7 conversations with different people, talked about different projects, pulling things together. Like, it's just, what the fuck? Where is time? Where is space? What is time? What is space? It doesn't exist anymore. It's just the dreams comes through.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
When have you guys met before, like in person?
Few times, many times, maybe.
Sagitas and
What
I?
depends?
Many-
What's
Sagitas and I? Is that what you're
Yeah, yeah.
asking? Elaine, is that what you're
What?
asking? If
Yeah,
Sagitas and
yeah,
I have met before?
yeah,
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 we
yeah.
spent a lot of time together. I mean, we've gotten to know each other probably 4 years ago at Joe
Ah.
Dispenza.
Oh, okay.
And then we spent a lot of time different places on the planet. So like we went to Brazil a couple times together. He came to really big events, like, so we spent a lot of time with the tribes together.
Mm.
He came to or brought me to Portugal. So we've done things all over the planet together. So We have a lot of resonance, which is also he's also observed me traveling around the planet, sharing this message with so much resilience and devotion, and then really just kind of we've been able to, I would say, be each other's strength of mirrors. And this is something that has been really important for us because uh, when it's interesting when there's things that try to take us outside of ourselves or challenge us, we check with each other first to make sure if we're in alignment or if we're in integrity or if we're making things coming from the right nature, because we don't want it to be about us. We want it to be about something greater than us. And that is something that has really helped us stay on focus by having these regular meetings, by meeting with each other, but then also challenging each other's like, hey, love is action. We're taking action. Trust is verified. Sorry needs change. These are three things that we've discovered within our own relationship with each other as brothers to help each other devote all of our time to this, because it's a devotion. It's a devotion.
It's
and
it's
it's
like,
fun, and we're making it fun and a little bit weird.
And like it's not even a choice anymore.
No,
Probably
I
it
mean,
never was. Probably it never was, and never will be. It's just universe playing its thing, for us.
Yeah.
Like I don't even own the body, it's not mine. What I own is
You're an avatar.
integrity. I mean, like what I own is integrity. Like if you're gonna put the gun to my head, that's where the real price comes out, right? Do I care? Do I care for community? Do I care for humanity future? Like it's not even a question. I'm taking my Bitcoin. If they coming after Bitcoin, sorry, I'm out. Like I know I'm not. I know I'm gonna come back to the better place because brothers and sisters are building the world where I want to come back.
Right.
And this comes down to no fear of death, like, because when you don't have any fear of death anymore, you know that life and death are the same thing. And
Yeah.
so there's a
It's all
responsibility.
pure energy, right?
It's pure energy, right? So there's no fear of anything anymore. You just move. You just move with total divine energy, and it's co-creation, because it's you're feeling the energy of our great teacher guiding you all the time, and you're capable and willing to do things that are hard. You're not worried so much about things what people say, but you just know that you have a responsibility. And we both choose, all three of us choose to step into that identity, right? We're choosing to do that with conscious integration. And that is a beautiful thing, to be so aware of yourself, to be willing to say, whatever it takes, because it's not about any of us. It's about what we pass on to the next generation.
Yeah, that's awesome. So who started this network? Did you do it, Eric? Like this, the Telegram group, right? Like,
yeah. So this is the thing, is like, I've been on my journey. I think 30 years I really started, but when I was younger, I was addicted to crack cocaine, and I think that was really my opening moment. And at Tony's event, I actually shared that at one of his business masteries. And I remember even the following day, he was like, wow, like, give it up for Eric. He overcame crack addiction, you know? But it was the question that my father asked me, can you do this for your future self? That helped me open up that understanding. And so since that moment, it was like I needed to devote my energy to something that was within me that was greater than myself. And so this movement has been something bigger than myself since, but most people have thought that because I have so much energy, I was trying to make it about me, and it was never about me. And Sagitas can verify this, that there's been a lot of that projection of people pushing me away.
Yeah.
And so as a result, this gave me the conviction to continue moving around the world, getting to know people, getting to understand people, learning about different cultures, getting curious enough from different teachers, and identifying and understanding that it is not actually about the differences of anything. It's actually about the similarities of everything. And when we start seeing these similarities inside of other people and recognizing that, then I remember, like, we're sitting at the Lighthouse in Tulum, and my brother here, he gets up and he stands up and he's like, "We are kings! We are kings!" And I'm looking at him like, I love this man. This is the most beautiful mirror. And he just was like owning it, and he was like, he was like so much in his depth, and he was owning what I was feeling, you know, and it was things that I was saying, but nobody was listening. And it was like we spent so much time bonding in that moment, bonding in those days. And then as a result, we stayed together. We then tried different. He came to Brazil with me. He got to know some of the tribes. He got to really connect with some of the tribes that I knew there really well. We built, and we wanted to build a community there. And we then went back there again to then try again with another investor, and things just didn't work out the way that we had hoped for. But we kept trying, we kept doing our best, we kept showing up, and either I would invest or he would invest, or he would help me out so much, like so many times he flew me out. And then it was like this man that just believes in the way that because I was constantly seeking something within myself. To how can we show up better, brother? What can we do better? How can we do this better? How can we take more responsibility better? And I kept going and I kept going and I kept traveling the world, and and then finally, you know, I was like, I invested all my money. I've like been talking about it. I've been sharing it. And I was like, I don't have anything left. I'm in Australia, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? and Sagita's at that. It's like a day later. He messages me and he's like, "Do you want to come to Portugal? I'll fly you out to Madeira to." I feel like you need to know more about Bitcoin. I feel like this is something for you, and this is something that you need to know about. And for the next 4 days, when I got to Madeira, I was in the front row like a student, just like at Tony, just like when I was at Tony's events, and Tony can verify this. Tony Robbins can verify this. I was right front row, sitting student, and so could Sagitas and everybody at Bitcoin Atlantis could see that I was verifying. I was studying. I was so studious. I was so focused because I was listening to the patterns of the principles that I've been studying within myself through all of these different cultures around the planet that have helped me define and understand what is fucking real, what is true, what is our nature, what is our movement. And I realized that Bitcoin is the vehicle. Bitcoin is the vehicle that will bring about a divine economy in this planet. And I was like, I didn't even hesitate for a second. I didn't even hesitate for a moment. And now we're working on a major deal in Alberta behind the meter for energy and making sure that we're Bitcoin mining, and we're doing all these things. But it's because I know the value of what it's not going to do just for us as a community, but for what it's going to do for the planet, the alignment of principles, the economy, and what it's going to do for the sovereignty of our future generations. Sorry for listening. I mean, not sorry, but thank you for listening.
Yes. Thank you for sharing.
There is one thing that I cannot verify actually in this what Eric was saying, and he was saying about that I stood up and said, "We are kings," This thing for some reason I cannot remember. Maybe I was in trance or channeling something. I don't know. I like there's not in memory bank. So we need somebody else from House to verify this. But yeah, this is the beauty. But this is the beauty of what Eric is sharing. Like going through that adventure, and coming to the point where we surrender, and Eric surrendered. Like he was completely like just sitting and like, brother, what's going on? What to do? What to do? And he already, like, but the point is I want to make that he already studied and he collected all information. So for him, what Madeira needed was just to connect the dots, to verify again what he was saying, just to check if the same way they talk about energy. Yeah, okay, it makes I know that. Check, I know, and that's the integrity. That's the values. Check down all the way with the system. That's what's going on.
Right. How big is the community now? Like that you're building?
I like the community that what's the question of Bitcoin community or
the light community? Is it called a light community?
Well, so there is no separation. It's a Bitcoin community. Otherwise, I would not be on Lighthouse. I check out immediately. If Eric says this is mine, I'm out immediately. If Eric says I made money now and that's it, I'm out immediately. Like we need to verify again. We need to meet. We need to drink ayahuasca, and we need to talk. if that happens.
Have you guys done that already?
Because Elaine, we forget. That's the point. We are humans as well. We forget, and that's why we need to remind each other about integrity, about values, principles. And that's why also I feel so safe and in my network, because I know I'm gonna kept accountable. So my bullshit does not fucking trick me into something. That's why I already giving away my Bitcoin. I'm sharing to people. That's why I'm opening my wallet. I'm opening my wallet for the community. Take as much as you want. When you have put it in, somebody else will put in. Like it's ours. Just build, just do. I know you. I verified you for years. Like you go, or I know how to verify in a 3 seconds. I know the tactics. Then the person I can play or not. For me, there is nothing in between. Either is a fuck yes or fuck no. There's nothing in between. Like this is again my integrity. Why would even? Oh, maybe. Oh, the energy is leaking. I'm listening there for hours again. Someone's bullshit. Someone draining my energy. No, Eric, you wanted to bring something.
So the Lighthouse is it's like Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the lighthouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Right? So Bitcoin is the lighthouse. Lighthouse is Bitcoin, because that is the focus. Is that it's actually the light expanding throughout all of us, and this is what's going. The lighthouse is the planet, but we are just now expanding the light throughout the planet.
Right. Got it.
It's like it's going it's going to deflate the money, and it's going to take up the new economy, and it's going to build in parallel, and eventually it's going to completely, by the time 2140 comes around, it's going to completely take over the old old economy.
Right.
So the way I would like to invite you just to study Bitcoin, just to think about that every part in Bitcoin technological side, it's a human part as well. So when we have nodes, it's we.
we are nodes.
Exactly. Like and if let's say Eric messes up, we cut off the node.
Mm.
Then he can go and build another community for himself. But in this community, the network is cut off.
Yeah.
And that's the power. That's the power.
So if there's no integrity, or if any of us are cut off or cut off, that immediately the integrity is cut off. And that means that you are no longer welcome to continue moving forward because everybody else verifies that you are out of integrity.
Mm.
Yeah. And like nobody wants to play because if I then I am not integral if I'm even playing with something like this.
Right. Yeah, very
yes, yes, there are attachments to brother, there are attachments to a lot of stories, but that noble mission is a priority.
Mm.
And that's non-negotiable. And that's non-negotiable. It's too like we've been granted with this gift to come to Bitcoin without, not without the purpose, not without the reason. There is a reason for everything. We showed up, and that's why. And that is very. Oh, I need to move a car, of course.
Well, good. Listen, I think for that, I think Elaine, I'm grateful for your time and wisdom today. It was grateful.
Yeah, thank you for sharing all this. Yeah. I feel upgraded somehow.
We're all upgrading each other. This is the gift. So, all together we fly. Brother, drive safely.
Thank you. Now I can.
And I gotta go. I'm going to help my grandma in the garden today, so I gotta run.
Okay. See you. Thank you.
Okay.
See you
Much
next
love.
week.
Thanks for this call.
Bye-bye.